We've been emailing for 3 weeks. He was professional, efficient. He was a successful entrepreneur from Latin America looking to source products from China. I was running ESA Tradex Group, helping businesses navigate Chinese factories without getting scammed. On email, he respected me, called me Estimado Salime, asked smart questions, listened to my advice, but then we met in person. I walked into that hotel lobby in Guangzhou and I watched his face change. He was expecting, I don't know, not a young Mexican woman, that's for sure. See, Salime does not sound Mexican. On email, he had no idea who he was dealing with, but now he saw me and suddenly everything shifted. We sat down. I walked him through the same proposal we discussed, the same factories, the same quality control process, the same timeline. And then he said it. I think I need to think about this a little more. Friend, nothing had changed except that now he could see me. In that moment, I had a choice. I could panic, I could over-explain, I could drop my price to prove my value, or I could translate what he was actually saying. That's when I learned the skill that has made me more money than any marketing strategy, any funnel, or any fancy technique. See, every objection is a question in disguise. And once you learn to translate them, everything changes. So stay with me because today you will learn how to translate objections. Welcome to Freedom to Follow. I'm Salime, your behind-the-scenes mentor for building digital businesses that fund your obedience to Christ. If this is your first time here, I help faith-driven Latinas build digital businesses that create income without sacrificing family or burning out. I've been doing this for over 20 years. Stick around and you'll see why. Everything we talk about comes with a practical exercise waiting for you at www.latinpreneurs.com/the vault. Today's tool is one that you're going to use over and over again. More on that in a bit. And if you're one of my regulars, welcome back, hermana. You know how we do things in Latinpreneurs, so let's get to it. Let me take you back to that hotel lobby in Guangzhou in 2009. I was running ESA Tradex, an online business helping Latin American companies do business in China. This was before Alibaba was what it was today, before Temu, before any of that. If you wanted to buy some product in a Chinese factory without getting scammed or overpaying, you basically needed someone on the ground who understood both worlds. That was me, a Mexican woman living in China who spoke Spanish, English, and Mandarin, who understood the culture, who could walk into a factory and spot problems before they became disasters. This particular client, let's call him Ricardo, owned a mid-sized agricultural supply company. He wanted to source equipment directly from manufacturers instead of paying the middleman. Smart businessman, good instincts. On email, we'd built a solid relationship. I'd send him factory reports, pricing comparisons, quality assessments, digital assets. He was impressed, ready to move forward. Then came the in-person meeting. Here's something you need to understand about my name. Salime is Arabic, Lebanese. It doesn't sound Mexican at all. On email, most people assume I was a man. It worked really to my advantage, always has. They didn't really know what to expect. When I walked into that lobby, I saw Ricardo's face shift. Just for a second, but I caught it. He stood up, shook my hand, but I could tell something was different. That confidence from his emails was gone. Now there were pauses, hesitations, questions he'd already asked before, like he was testing me. We went through the proposal, which had the same information, the same value, my same expertise. And at the end, instead of signing it, he said, I think I need to think about this a little bit more. Maybe get a few more quotes. Now, here's what a younger version of me would have done. I would have panicked, started over-explaining my credentials, maybe offered a discount to prove I was worth the risk. Basically, I would have begged. But something stopped me. I looked at this man, successful in his own right, and I realized his objection wasn't about my proposal. His objection was actually about me. Could he trust a young woman to handle his business in China? So instead of defending my price, I got curious. Ricardo, can I ask you something? We've been working together for 3 weeks. You've seen my reports. You know my process. What specifically changed between our last email and right now? He was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed, a little embarrassed. Honestly, I wasn't expecting... you're very professional, but this is a big investment and... He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. You're wondering if I can actually deliver, I said. Not because of my work. You've seen my work. But because when you look at me, I don't look like what you expected. He didn't deny it. Here's what I want you to consider, I continued. Every factory owner in China has underestimated me in the exact same way. And that's actually my advantage. They let their guard down. They show me things they wouldn't show a man in a suit. And I catch problems that would have cost you thousands of dollars. I pulled out on my phone and showed him photos from my last factory visit. Me on the production floor, me checking equipment, me negotiating with the owner. This is what you're paying for. Not what I look like, but what I deliver. Well, let me tell you, he signed that day. And that moment taught me something I've used ever since. In every sales conversation, in every coaching call, in every discovery session. His I need to think about it was never about thinking. It was a question. Can I trust you even though you're not what I expected? Once I answered that question, the objection disappeared. By the way, if you've ever felt underestimated, if you've ever walked into a room and watched someone recalculate your worth based on what you look like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the tool I'm giving you today in the vault at latinpreneurs.com/the vault, it's going to help you handle those moments with confidence and not panic. So let's talk about the terrible advice that's out there about handling objections. There are 2 camps, and they're both wrong. First, you've got that discount and pray crowd. Those are the women who hear it's too expensive and immediately slash their prices. They throw in bonuses nobody asked for. They basically communicate, you're right, I'm not worth what I'm charging. And what happens? They train their audience that the first price is never the real price. They attract clients who will negotiate everything forever. They end up resentful, burnt out, and still struggling. Now the second camp is worse. The aggressive closer gurus. The ones who teach you manipulation scripts, false scarcity, pressure tactics. What's really holding you back? Delivered with that condescending tone. It feels like a car dealership and your potential clients can smell it. Here's a problem with both approaches. They treat the person like an obstacle to overcome instead of a human to understand. The discount people are scared of rejections, so they reject themselves first. The aggressive people are scared too, so they try to control the conversation. But neither one is actually listening. Proverbs 18:13 says, "To answer before listening, that is folly and shame." Proverbs 18:2, "Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions." Proverbs 1:5, "Let the wise listen and add to their learning." Proverbs 19:20, "Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise." We have to learn to listen. The Bible is clear. Listening comes first. Understanding comes first. And then you respond. That's what I want to teach you today. A third way. Not caving, not pressuring, translating. Actually listening to what's underneath those words. This is the framework I wish somebody had given me before that meeting in Guangzhou. And that's exactly what's waiting for you in the vault at www.latinpreneurs.com/the vault. I call this the objection translator. And once you learn it, you will never hear objections the same way again. Here's how it works. Every common objection has a hidden question under it. Your job is to translate the objection into the question and then answer that. So let me walk you through 5 of the most common ones. And by the way, that tool in the vault has 20 of this already translated for you, plus blank pages to add to your own. But let's start here. Number 1, and this is so common, I cannot afford it. What they're really asking is, I am not convinced this will work for me. Can you show me why this is worth prioritizing? They're not asking for you to lower your price. They're asking you to build their confidence in the outcome. Number 2, I need to think about it. What they're really saying is, I have unanswered questions, but I'm not really sure which ones. Can you help me figure out what's still unclear? Your response is not to pressure them. It is to ask, what specifically do you need to think through? Maybe I can help. Number 3, I need to ask my husband or my wife. What they're really asking is, I need permission to prioritize myself. Is this actually okay for me to want? Sometimes it's genuinely about finances, but often it's about permission. Your job is to help them see their investment as something that serves their whole family. Number 4, maybe later. What they're really asking is, I don't see the urgency. Why does this matter now? Now, this is not about creating fake countdown timers. It's about helping them see the real cost of waiting for another 6 months. Number 5, I'm not ready. What they're really asking is, I am scared of failing. What happens if I invest and still do not succeed? Now, let me tell you, nobody ever feels ready. The program exists precisely because they're not ready. Now, let me tell you, I still use this every week. A couple of months ago, a woman on a discovery call for my Latinpreneurs coaching said, I don't think I can afford this right now. But I'd seen her business. I knew that she was leaving on the table by not having systems. So I asked her, okay, if budget wasn't a factor at all, would you still want to do this? She said, absolutely, I need this. Then let's talk about what's really making you hesitate, because I don't think it's money. Turns out she was terrified of investing in herself and still failing. She'd done it before with other programs, bought courses that she never finished, hired coaches who did not deliver. So her real question was, how is this different? How do I know I won't waste this too? Once I answered that, she enrolled. So you need to stop defending your price and start addressing their fear. Stop answering what they say and start answering what they mean. Again, that's the objection translator, and it will change everything. So let me tell you about Daniela. She's a health coach. She sells nutrition pages, and she could not close a sale to save her life. Every discovery call ended the same way. That sounds great. I'll think about it. And they never came back. When I asked her what objections she was hearing, she said, everyone says it's too expensive. So I had her walk me through her last few calls. And you know what I found? Every time someone mentioned price, Daniela panicked. She'd immediately start justifying her cost, explaining what she charged, basically apologizing for her rates. And her potential clients could feel that lack of confidence. If she didn't believe that the price was fair, why would they? Now, quick sidebar. If that sounds like you, if you struggle with your own money beliefs, the Vault has a tool called the Pricing Leak Finder from episode 15, and it will surface the hidden scripts that are making you uncomfortable with your prices. Because here's the truth, you cannot translate their objections if you're actually drowning on your own. So again, episode 15 exercise sheet in latinpreneurs.com/the vault will help you with this. But let's go back to Daniela. I taught her the objection translator. I had her practice responding, "That's expensive," with, "I hear you. Can I ask, if budget wasn't a factor at all, would you want to do this?" Her very next call, a woman said, "I don't know if I can swing this right now." So Daniela took a deep breath and asked, "What specifically feels uncertain? Is it the price itself? Or is it whether this will actually work for you?" Now the woman said, "Honestly, I've just tried too many diets. What if this one doesn't work either?" Now they were having a real conversation, not about money, about fear. 30 minutes later, Daniela had a new client. Before the objection translator, she was converting at about 8% of her calls. After 3 months of practice, 23% with the same offer, the same price, but a different conversation. And here's what Daniela told me recently. She said, Salime, it's not just about the sales. It's that I actually enjoy discovery calls now. I'm not dreading them. I'm just curious. I want to know what's really going on for this person and figure out if I can help them. That's the shift. From defending to understanding. From fearing objections to welcoming them because you're willing to serve. Okay, friend, here's what I need you to do. Because you can listen to this episode and nod along and think, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then freeze the next time someone says, I can't afford it. Or you can prepare. The objection translator is waiting for you right now in the vault at latinpreneurs.com/the vault. And it's not just a worksheet. It is a tool you're going to use over and over and over again. Here's what's inside. 20 pre-translated objections. The most common ones you're going to hear are already decoded for you. I can't afford it. I need to think about it. My husband won't understand. 20 objections, 20 translations, 20 response framework. Plus, blank pages at the end for your specific objections because obviously your business is unique. Your clients say things that are specific to what you sell. So you are going to build your own translator over time. Now, this isn't a one-time exercise. This is literally a reference tool. It's that kind of thing that you pull out before every discovery call. That kind of thing that sits on your desk until the translations become automatic. And just remember that the Vault is not just one tool. We have the first follower framework from episode 12, who will help you identify who's ready to buy from you. The customer journey map from episode 17, so you know exactly where your audience is in their path to buying. The 90-day launch calendar from episode 15 that maps out your entire runway. And when my Latinpreneur course launches, valid Vault members will get first access. Bonuses nobody else gets, and at a price that it won't repeat. So go to latinpreneurs.com/the vault and subscribe. It takes 30 seconds and you can start building your digital business right now. Because this is so much more than me wanting you to build something. This is about you building for mobilization, for obedience. Now, I've built 3 platforms. Reformadas, which equips you with Gospel Center free resources to dive deeper in your faith. And now I'm building Latinpreneurs, so you build your own successful platform and are able to obey your calling in the Lord. Before I close, I want to ask you something. If this episode helped you, I need you to share it. And I know what you may be thinking because I grew up with the same mindset. Latinas, we're taught that the economy is a pie, a fixed pie. And if somebody else takes a big slice, there's less for you. So you guard your secrets. You don't share what's working. You see other women as competition because if they win, somehow you lose. I believed that for years. But here's what I've learned. That pie is not fixed. The pie grows. When you build a business, you don't just take from the economy, you add to it. You hire a web designer, you pay your virtual assistant, you buy from other small businesses, you tithe to your church, you give to causes you believe in. You create value that did not exist before you started. You become a contributing factor, not somebody fighting, somebody who's actually baking more pie. And here's what makes digital businesses different. It can cross borders. A Latina in Dallas can serve clients in Argentina. A woman in Lima can sell courses to someone in Barcelona. We're not limited by our zip code anymore. We're not stuck competing for our local markets only. Someone in Cuba can be selling to someone in the US. Digital means you can expand your sales beyond borders. So, when you build a digital business, you're not just growing your personal economy. You're expanding what's possible for all of us. But hermana, this is something that is so exciting because it's not just about money. It's about mission. Think about what becomes possible whether Christian Latinas have margin, real margin, not just enough to survive, but enough to live and give, enough to go, enough to say yes when God calls. The church in Latin America is under-resourced. Pastors are bivocational, not by choice, but by necessity. Missionaries cannot raise traditional support because the economies they come from don't have it to give. Ministries are limited not by vision but by funding. What if we became the solution? What if thousands of Latinas built businesses that didn't just pay their bills but funded their obedience? What if our little Latinpreneurs community became a force for kingdom impact? Women who can give generously because their income is not consumed by survival. Women who can go because their businesses run from anywhere. Women who can say yes to the mission trip, the church plant, the community project, the family in need. That's the vision. That's freedom to follow. Not just freedom from your 9 to 5, but freedom for the calling God has placed on your life. And I cannot build it alone. There are millions of Latinas right now who are stuck. Talented women, gifted women, women who love Jesus and want to serve but can't see past the bills. Women who would be incredibly generous if they just had something to give. I need your help to reach them. Think about the woman in your life who needs to hear this. Your prima who has been talking about starting something for years. Your friend from church who's exhausted from their job but would give anything to have time for ministry. The woman who volunteers every chance she gets but is burning out because she cannot afford to slow down at work. Send her this episode. Send her to the vault, latinpreneurs.com/the vault. Tell her this helped me. I think this will help you too. You're not sharing competition. You're inviting her into the mission. Because when she builds, she can build. When you build, you can go. When we all build together, we fund a movement that changes everything. But the bridge for the hermana who does not know exists yet needs you. Now, before I finish, let me bring you back to that hotel lobby in Guangzhou. Ricardo became one of my best clients. We worked together for years. And he told me later that the moment changed everything wasn't when I showed him my credentials or my factory photos. It was when I named what he was actually thinking. When I said out loud the thing that he couldn't say himself. You're wondering if you can trust me because I don't look like you expected. That's honesty. That's willingness to address the real question instead of the surface objections. That's what builds trust. And here's what I want you to understand. You're going to face your own version of that moment. Maybe you already have. Someone's going to question your price because they're questioning whether this will work for them. Someone's going to say maybe later because they're scared to commit. Someone's going to look at you and wonder if you can really deliver. And now you have a tool, the objection translator, 20 objections decoded, blank pages for your own. A reference you can use over and over with every sales conversation from here on now. So go get it. latinpreneurs.com/the vault. Open it, read it, and let them sink in. You're going to learn to translate. Next week, I'm going to tell you about the system that almost destroyed my business. Not because it was bad, but because it was way too good. And because I forgot the one thing that makes everything else works. So if you've been building systems and wondering why something still feels off, you need to hear this. This is Alime, and I'll see you next week on Freedom to Follow. Goodbye.